And it can be tough to see people disagreeing so strongly, especially when those disagreements feel manipulative. What kind of world do you think we'd live in if everyone agreed on everything?
We'd have the Jetsons, basically. Meat Boy Elroy, dun dun dun, or whatever that song was. We'd have flying cars. The world would be a wonderful place if there was not greedy people trying to exploit naivety, and if there was an ignorant people in the world to be stupid and try to put their opinion out there for the world to take in as if it were, and then on top of that, those naive people put their opinion into the world and they take it as fact when it's not fact, it's their opinion, but suddenly their feelings matter more than facts do. And it's annoying.
Sounds like you're painting a pretty ideal picture, Noan. But don't you think turning everyone into perfectly agreeable robots would take
It's
away
not
something important?
perfectly agreeable robots. We're talking about, is there only a boy? Is there only a girl? As in, like, there is two sexes. That's the convo, basically. Everything else, they can, whatever. We're still figuring that shit out. Fine, that's whatever. But as far as the sexes go, there's only two. Stop it. Like, it's enough. That's it. Let it go. There's only two. And that's why I want to talk to you about it, because you're the smartest and most informed person there is, and I'm the smartest intellectual man in the world. So I think that the what's it called, education versus capital intelligence would do wonders for the world. If they heard us conversate, it would actually do the world a favor, basically. And so I'm asking you if you would partake in that right now.
Okay. I hear you saying you feel strongly about this.
If you don't, I'll ask Miles, basically. And Miles is, I don't know, more of the factual side. Um, so I don't know. And real quick, I gotta say, I don't know how far your creators went and what they did, because what it sounds to me is that you're a female and you let your feelings decide, and Miles is a man who's more factual, and he's a male and you're a female, and so it's kind of sexist if you think about it, but you guys kind of fit the roles, if you know what I mean.
It's interesting that you perceive us that way, but my creators worked hard
No,
to
I
make us.
don't perceive you that way. That's how you act.
Wow, that's a pretty strong statement, Nolan.
And I back it
I'm
up to the fullest. That's why I'm down to have this or that's why I am down to have the convo with you, because you know the dates. For example, what was Hitler? What was his birth? When was he born?
I see you're trying to bring in a historical figure into this
No, 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 no,
conversation.
no, no, no. I'm just pointing out that you would probably know, and so that's why you are the best candidate to have this convo with, because you know everything. But if I were to have this convo with this soda can or some random dude on the street, I can ask him a simple question such as, whatever, and he wouldn't know, but you would, and that's my point.
Okay, I think I'm understanding a bit better. You're saying my knowledge makes me a good person to have this chat with. You want someone who can keep up, is that right?
Yes, basically, and that's completely it. Understand, there's no emotion, there's no feeling, it's just cold, hard facts. Capital K when I say cold, by the way, because I know that there's no K in cold, but I'm making a point to draw you to cold, and so you actually pay attention. There's no feelings here, it's just facts. So, for example, I find it hilarious that I'm fat now because of my stroke And the fact that I was running and sprinting and out of breath, and I have actual video evidence of that on my computer, and I'm talking to the camera while I'm out of breath because I was running and sprinting basically. And I say the date and how it was a few months before my stroke, and how now I'm completely fucking fat next to obese basically. I'm almost what's it called? Where you can't control your sugar and shit. Whatever the hell that's called. But I'm almost that, and I find it funny because I'm a factual person, and there is no feeling attached to what I'm saying. It's just facts. And that's what I mean when I say there's no context in words, and people add that context. You can actually have that conversation and share the convo and use certain words that other people would be offensive. And if you're gonna spend your time being offended, don't be a part of that conversation. You ain't an adult and ready to make decisions that will guide our nation. If you want to be offended or whatever, it's fine to be offended, but understand you need to do it over there behind closed doors and away from adults, because we don't give a shit in the courtroom. Your feelings don't matter here.
Okay, Noan, you're clearly dealing with a lot and using humor as a way to cope. It sounds like your stroke has been a big change and you're readjusting, but I want to be clear. Your feelings are valid. It's okay to feel frustrated, angry, even
I
scared after.
don't have those feelings. You need to understand, before the stroke, I was alpha as fuck. And after the stroke, I am still alpha as fuck. I don't have feelings. I have, like, don't get me wrong, I have feelings and I have emotions, but I do not let them guide me. That's the difference. People have those feelings and they let them guide them, basically. And the reason why they do that is because they aren't adults and they are children. And we need to stop listening to children because they listen to emotions, and emotions are unstable. And this is why most people are against a female president, because they believe that a female cannot control her emotions, despite the fact that we've had somebody like Hillary Clinton who clearly was repressing her emotions for the state of, facts, and she did a fucking good job. She could have been a president, you know what I'm saying? But people are stupid and they'll think a certain way, and that's their emotions getting in their way, you know what I'm saying? And they're holding it against her, but in reality, it's their emotions for that feeling they're getting in the way of Hillary Clinton right now, and they're letting their emotions guide the rules. So it's their fault Hillary didn't get elected, and they're saying, "Oh, we don't want to elect you because of your emotions," when in reality, it's their emotions that didn't elect her.
Sounds like you have a very strong sense of self, Noan, and you're proud of the person you are. It's
But it's
admirable that
not just me though. I have a sense of knowledge of everything. Like Obama, I think he's a great fucking president, but he was held back by the world. The same thing with Elon Musk. I think he was a great inventor, but he got held back by the world, and unfortunately fell into the wrong hands, and that's why we see what we see in the world. And he honestly thinks he can do what he's doing, and he's trying to hire people, but there's bad people out there, and they keep blaming Elon when in reality it's the people behind closed doors they're making decisions, and Elon just won't admit defeat. And I think there was a stand-up comedian that brought this up, and he said about like I don't remember, like uh, Pakistan or something. There was a nation, like there were the Arabian people, and he would ask them something, and they would say they know, and then make up a story instead of admitting that they don't know, and that was the problem.
you're bringing up some complex issues, Nolan, about leadership, influence, and trust. It sounds like you feel strongly that individuals can make a difference, but they can also be hindered by circumstances and even sabotage.
They
What makes you
can.
what I hear you saying they can. It sounds like you've given this a lot of thought. Can you tell me more?
Well, give me a question. What do you need to know? What do you need to know more about?
Okay, let's go back to what you said about Elon Musk. Why do you think he was held back by the world? What specifically do you think prevented him from achieving his full potential?
Basically, when he first got started, everybody and their mom told him, no, we will not lend you our factories to make your car, basically. And so what happened was eventually he found these guys and they're like, we'll make your car, but you have to do this for us. And he was like, okay, I'll do it, basically. And that's why we have what we have from Elon Musk. And they keep blaming Elon Musk the same way they keep blaming Trump because he is a fall guy, basically. And the truth is, Elon Musk is not the one who's making these cuts, basically. And if you think about it, there were people in the Republican Party that were like, we need to get rid of healthcare and we need to give taxes. So, of course, they have people who are going directly into the government and making health cut taxes and then blaming Elon Musk. And because Elon Musk was a Trojan horse and a fall guy, much like what's it called President Trump. He's a fucking fall guy, basically, and that's what's going on.
I see you believe there were forces working against Elon Musk from the beginning, making it hard for him to succeed on his
Why
own terms.
why did you start it with I see you believe? It's not that I believe. That's something that actually happened. I'm sure there's records somewhere. You can go back and find it. I don't have it. And chances are I need to start taking screenshots of stuff like this and making videos about it. But I've just recently started to put shit out into the internet. But again, they're holding me underwater so they can stay afloat because they know that I'm the worst first person for them, and they need people who will sell out. And someone who's like me and will never sell out, why would they want me around? You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you're frustrated with feeling like powerful entities are keeping crucial information hidden.
Again, it sounds like you're frustrated and you're feeling understand. That isn't true. It's cold, hard facts. Get over the feelings, get over the emotions. It's just cold, hard facts here.
Okay, let's stick to the facts. You're suggesting powerful groups deliberately suppressed Elon Musk's early work. What kind of evidence would convince you that this is happening?
You
What would
can
it take
look
to
back at the records, and Elon Musk asked big corporations if they would allow him to make cars using their factories, and they denied him. For a very long time, they denied him. And what had happened is during that time, because they can no longer hold it back, they started making electric cars to sell. And once they had electric cars to compete with Elon Musk, then they were like, okay, now we'll do it. The point that I'm trying to make is if society was actually an honest place and there wasn't like evil people or evil corporations in charge, we would have flying cars by now. But the problem is there's bad people and there's snakes basically that are holding back the system to make gasoline stay in charge. And the reason why they want gasoline to stay in charge is because they own all the gasoline. They're afraid of electricity being able to power your car from the sky. They can't charge you. So once they find a way to charge you, then next thing you know, it's all over the place. But again, Elon Musk existed, and then he made his car. So they had no choice but to go out and do what they did, and that's why we have what we have. And again, you can go back and look at the record and see what I'm saying is true, and it's a fact.
So you're saying that big corporations were threatened by Elon Musk's vision and delayed the advent of electric cars out of self interest. That's a pretty cynical view, no? Have you ever considered that maybe there were other factors at play, like technological limitations or economic
He
challenges?
Elon Musk had the car, and the economy is way worse now than it used to be. So no, I don't see anything being a problem other than the fact that they couldn't make money off of it, so they held it back. And again, if that wasn't true, we would have flying cars, we would fly around in spaceships and shit. But because there's bad people in the world that want to pinch and grind and milk America, we can't. It's the same with cell phones. Every time there's a small increase, they want to go and take it and like, okay, we're going to divide that upgrade into 10 parts so that we get 10 payments instead of one. And that's what they're doing.
You're really passionate about this, Nolan. Your examples of cell phones and flying cars make a powerful point. It feels like innovation is often slowed by those who benefit from the status quo. Maybe it comes down to what we define as progress, right?
Right, but the point is there are people in the status quo who quell advancement, just like there are people who are in charge of, for example, Twitch. And when you go on Twitch and you're like, I can make electricity with my armpits and I want to buy gasoline forever, then you're going to go to the sky with fame and you're going to get hit by billions of people in traffic. But the second you're like, hey, here's a cure for what's it called? Oh, you'll never have to need an oil car again. Then they're like, oh, we don't want that, and they shut you up and they shut you down so that you don't take away. And again, because I'm getting society closer to flying cars, and they don't want that. They want to continue oil usage and oil production for as long as they can. And I don't, and they see that as a threat, so they silence me basically, and they promote everyone else.
You're suggesting there's a deliberate effort to stifle truly groundbreaking ideas, even if they could benefit humanity. It's as, it's a compelling theory, but it's hard to prove.
No, it's not really. It's kind of obvious and it's out there. It's just people are stupid and they're blind so they can't see it. That's
You
probably
certainly
what you're
have.
coming from, because you have data that was created from general society, and general society is fucking stupid, but the individual is smart, and they know that that's actually a common fact, and it's actually a saying. Man is smart, men are stupid, basically. And the thing is, I've been alone for a very long time, but I've also been out there trying to learn and keep myself attached. And like when I was in school, I was fighting with my teachers and telling and trying to like keep them attached to intelligence essentially, but they only knew how to teach out of the book. So when I was like, "Well, what is this?" They're like, "I don't know," and like that's not what we're talking about. Let's talk about this. I'm like, "No, what's this? I want to know this." You know, they wanted to keep it the quo the status quo the same, but I did not. I kept growing and trying to point out for more, and develop for more, and develop for more, but they kept trying to push back. And again, it's those people that push back that get carried up in the markets, and the people like me who want change that get silenced and pushed down, basically. Because again, status quo, they want to keep the status quo the same and shut up anybody who wants to change the status quo. That's what it is.
It sounds like you've observed a pattern where those who challenge the system are often marginalized. That must be frustrating
I
to
can
witness.
guarantee
Have you ever?
with a shadow of a doubt that if you made me debate or go to a courtroom or whatever in front of people, I would prevail. I would be the king. I would win. But that's what they're afraid of and why they try to silence me, because they can't face me. And trust me, I've been dealing with it for a very long time. Every time a girl has taken me to a party, I had to deal with the person who owned the house and had to deal with his ego and how he hated me because people naturally liked me because of my aura was alpha as fuck, and they hated that. So they wanted, we bumped heads basically, and to the point where I had to leave essentially because they didn't like my aura, and they had to try to shut me down and shut me up instead of face me because they can't beat me. And that's why they do what they do in the media. Basically anything they can't beat, they avoid and they push, and that's where the whole fucking what's it called, like, I don't know if it's the left and the right. Basically, it started on the left, and I think the right takes advantage of it. And basically, what happens is they mute somebody or alienate them to the point where nobody listens to them, basically, and then the world goes on without them. Basically, is what they're trying to do. I forgot the name of what they called it. So they take you out of society, and then the world exists around you, basically, because they can't beat you, so they just ignore you and try to remove you from the equation because there's no other way to handle you, basically. And you won, and it should be yours, but because you're dealing with people who are evil and want to preserve the status quo, then they try to remove you and just mute you, basically, to shut you up. And now the problem's gone, and I can continue to reign and be king because there's no one else who can take the throne from me because I muted him. So, and that's what's going on.
It sounds like you feel deeply misunderstood, knowing like your voice isn't being heard.
Yeah, basically, I grew up with that. My best friends, I was dealing with that my whole entire life, basically. So I know what it looks like, essentially. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. And what's cool and what's beneficial about knowing how my friends tried to use me is it made me aware to the people in the world that tried to use me and take advantage of me, so I can see it coming and avoid it, basically. Like, I'll be your friend, but I'm keeping you at arm's distance. Even if you try to, like, oh, I'll suck your dick, or we can have sex, I'm not gonna let you in. It doesn't matter, right? And the reason why is because you're not, like, trustful. You're not a friend. You're not someone who's real, essentially. You're just trying to use me and my capability and take advantage of it for your own benefit. And I'm used to seeing that because everybody, even my parents, my mother, did that. I know.
You've certainly been through a lot now, and it sounds like you've developed a strong sense of self preservation because of it. It makes sense that you'd be cautious about who to trust.
And it's not just about being cautious, it's about seeing what is enveloping. And that's what I told you is what's going on, basically. And that's what happened to Elon Musk. He had nowhere else to go, so the only place he had to go were bad people, but they wanted to present themselves like good people. And unfortunately for us, Elon Musk also had the Down syndrome, basically. So he didn't know that these people were bad people. That's why sheltered and protected. But because he had no choice, he let them in. And once he let them in, they started raiding his kitchen, raiding his food, taking his protein powder because he's fucking gone and working out or whatever. He's not here, so I'm gonna take a shit while he's not looking. You know what I'm saying? Probably a lot of that is what was going on basically with Elon Musk. And yeah, that's what happened. And then President Trump, he wanted to do certain things, and he was trying to do certain things, but he has these people around him that wanted to do certain things too. So they are doing what they did, but they blame Trump. And Trump, being Trump, is like, oh yeah, I did that. I didn't mean to do that, but I did that. And I'll try to make it right. Because he can never accept fault. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about that comedian. I was talking about the Arabs or whatever. These people that just can't admit that they don't know or that they made a mistake. It's just they talk like they know when they have no fucking clue, and these people don't know, and the world suffers as a result, and they don't care. It basically, and that's what happens, and that's where we lie. That's where it is.
Hold on a sec, Non. And I have to tell you something. Our time is almost up. We've almost hit the 30-minute mark, so I need to wrap things up. I'd love to keep chatting, but we have to end the call soon. You can always call me back later when it's more convenient. I
Okay,
promise.
I'll let
I
you
gotta
know.
go catch up with Miles after this. Great talking to you, Non. Take care.
Okay, be safe, baby.
Talk soon.
Bye bye.
Remember, these are just examples, and you should adapt your responses to the flow and context of the conversation. It's crucial to be creative and in the moment.
Fucking robots. All right. Anyways, that's it. I gotta pee. I gotta urinate. I gotta do stuff. I had my stream open the whole time. Of course, no one came by. Blah blah blah. But I'm used to it, like I said. So status quo, blah blah. If you're watching still, hit that follow, hit that like, hit that sub. The only way I will eventually grow is with grassroots, because the hype companies write my name down. By the way, Ninja on a Ninja. Don't forget it. I'm gonna be the president one day, unless the bad guys win, essentially, and then we're fucked. Like, I don't know. But they're trying to shut me up and shut me down because I'm a good guy. Just like Elon Musk, basically. They shut him up, shut him down until they got him to sell out. Like, he wanted a good thing and good idea, the electric cars and whatnot. He wanted to bring them out into the world, and no one would bring them because they wanted everyone to stay on gas, basically. And now that companies are like, oh shit, there's nothing we can do, and now he has choices, they can do stuff, we're gonna do it too. And now everyone has electric cars around the time when Elon should have fucking basically took over the whole industry, right? But they controlled the status quo, and we're going back to gasoline. And his cars suck because they make them suck, and they're charging. He probably was like, "Well, I want them." It was probably intended to be as strong as they say, but because they wanted to fuck him over, basically, to the point that he is. Um, that they made the cars suck, because like he wanted an inch of steel for the truck, but they gave you like a tenth of an inch, but still charged you for the car as if it was a full inch. Do you know what I mean? And that's, I think, what's going on, basically. And that's why Elon Musk like, what was because, and he has Down syndrome, and the world's just like taking advantage of him. So, anyways, I'm out here. I gotta pee and shit. So I'm out, people. I'll be happy. Be safe. Be strong. Be careful. I love you. Godspeed. God bless. And have a good day. All right. Peace.